wanna study abroad,
if you need a visa to travel, Jestone education
is all you need. You can study, you can live, you can walk abroad.
Jestone education,
Actualizing dreams.
For seamless admission and visa processing to study, work, and live abroad, call Jestone Education on 080-94-194-444 or 0909-8919-444. Jestone Education, actualizing career dreams.
Hello, everyone. Good afternoon and welcome to today's webinar. This is Jestone Education's exclusive webinar with the University of East Anglia. We have about 34 persons already joined in for this meeting, and we're expecting more persons, but we are going to be starting right away. I can see Anderson, I can see Akopula. Sorry if I don't pronounce it improperly. I can see Deborah, I can see God's Favor, I can see Faith, I can see Amanda. Thank you all for joining. Thank you for making our time to join today's webinar. So we are going to be going right into it. Like I mentioned, we have with us the representative of University of East Anglia in person of Ms. Debbie Oko. Listen keenly to the session. If you have any questions, she's going to dedicate time to answer your questions. We know we've been getting a couple of inquiries. Well, how about this? How about that? How about this? How about that? Whatever questions you have about this particular university, you have the direct representative of the school here with you today, so you can direct all your questions to her, and you know certainly they are going to get the answers to it. We are going to make provisions at the end of the session for those that still want an exclusive one-on-one session with the school rep. We are going to honor that request and give you that session with the school rep. All right, we are getting more people in. That's good. That is good. 39, 40 more people are joining, and that's amazing because it's an exclusive privilege to get to interact with the representative of the school directly. For those of you that don't know, University of East Anglia is a top 25 UK university. Yes, you had that correct. And they've got really amazing, amazing offers. I don't want to rush into it just yet. I'm trying to keep you anticipating because she's going to go into all of that detail. So if you are here today, if you've made our time to join today, you definitely have made the right decision for your career path. And I can assure you that University of East Anglia is not a university you want to joke with. Whatever offers they're offering, you want to jump on it right away and make the most out of it. Jestone Education we are licensed representative of over 300 institutions across 30 plus countries. But very interestingly, and that's why today's webinar is power-packed, right? We emerged UEA's African Best Agent of the Year. Yes, I'm just going to ask my colleague to put that up. So she's going to be sharing that award. You are going to see it for yourself. We emerged UEA's Africa's Best Agent of the Year. So that's not, if you can hear me, please, can you start clapping for Jestone Education? It's not a small thing at all. So can I see the clapping emojis? If you are proud of the work that we are doing at Jestone Education, let me see you clap. If you don't clap, I'm not going to continue. So please clap. Let me see the clapping emojis. I've not seen anybody. Okay, I've seen. Yeah, I can see Anderson clapping. Chosin has just clapped. So it's not a joke. Let me say it like that. So here's the award. We were recently awarded Best African Agent of the Year. So yay, thank you, Debbie. So we're going to get more into this. I'm going to say it again during the course of this event. I'll keep shouting it in your ears because we are really proud. So Miss Debbie, if you're ready, we can have you now.
Thank you, Benanai. I'm ready. I'm sorry, I had to just attend to something rather quickly. So good afternoon, everyone. Yes, this is University of East Anglia, which I'm going to be sharing with you. And of course, Benanai has done a good job just talking about Jestone and, talking about how they are African Agents of the Year, and that is not a fluke. So we as a university like to work with the best hands. So yeah, in the right place actually. So what I'm going to be doing is I'm going to be sharing my screen with you, and then we'll just get right into it. And I'm going to talk to you about UEA and what we have on offering for you today. Okay, so let me just share my screen. Okay, if you can see my screen, just let me know so we can get right to it. Perfect. So what I will do, I will turn off my videos so I don't distract you while I'm sharing the screen. And all right, so let's talk about the University of East Anglia. I know we've just been saying UEA. That's what you will get to know us with or as UEA. And in this webinar, I'm going to introduce you to UEA. I'm going to talk to you about where we're located, campus, our facilities, about making your application, admission processes, requirements, fees, what scholarships we have, how to make your payment, what courses we have available. And at the end of this webinar, you can ask questions. You can ask us questions, and I think we'll have a breakout session, after that. So quick facts about the university. We were founded in 1963. We are known as a modern university in that we are not a red brick university. Founded in 1963, so that makes us a little over 60 years old. We're top 25 in the UK, like, Benaniah mentioned. We're also top 200 in the world according to the Times Higher Ranking Education World University Rankings. We have gold in our Teaching Excellence Framework, and we have 4 Nobel Prize winners amongst our graduates. Okay, now where are we located? So UEA is located in the city of Norwich. Okay, so Norwich is pronounced or is spelled Norwich. The W is silent, and that's why we say Norwich, not Norwich. Okay, so UEA is located in Norwich. Norwich is an hour 45 minutes from the city from London city centre by train, and it's in the east side of the UK. So east of England, you have Essex, Norwich, Cambridge, Colchester, Ipswich, and that's where you find Norwich located. And like I said, it's just an hour 45 minutes by train to London city centre. And so if you look at the map here, which is a map of the UK, you will see where Norwich is and how far it is from other places. So when you're talking about the UK, you have the east side, you have west of England, east of England, you have south of England, you have north part of England or northwest or south and all of that. So when you look on the map, you will see where exactly we are located. Norwich also has an international airport, which makes us a city. Okay, so most cities are those that would have an international airport. So Norwich has an international airport, and it's about 45 minutes from Amsterdam. So if you can fly directly into Norwich from anywhere in Nigeria, I think majorly Lagos. You fly KLM. And when KLM will always do a stop in Amsterdam, and so from Amsterdam to Norwich, you know that you will be in Norwich in about 60 minutes, or at the university in about 60 minutes. It's a small airport, but it's not as busy and as crowded as the Heathrow airport. So which makes it easier for students who want to study and come to study at UEA. It makes it easier for students. So in September, usually there's always a large influx of people into the UK because of study, and most people will land in Heathrow. So Heathrow always has long queues at for immigration, and it's always so difficult. But as an international student, you can choose to fly directly into Norwich. There is also the coastal area around Norwich. Norwich is Norwich is in the region of Norfolk, and around Norfolk you have a lot of beaches, and so the university itself is about 45 minutes drive to any beach around there. And of course, you can also go straight to Paris if you wanted to by train from Norwich. The university has about 17,000 students, about 4,000 international students from over 120 universities. So that gives you an idea of the size of the university. So this is Norwich. I put up a few pictures here and just goes to show the what you'll find in the city of Norwich. It's a mix of the old and new. It's you'll find the medieval city, that it's a medieval city. So there's a lot of relics that you will find in the city. And you have the cathedral, for example, which is the oldest cathedral in the east of England. Norwich is also known as one of the top 10 safest places to be as a student. It's one of the top best places to live in the UK. It's one of the top 10 cheapest cities to live in the UK. It's also one of the most climate-friendly English cities. So yes, it gets cold in the UK and it rains a lot in the UK, but Norwich is actually the driest region in the UK. So it doesn't rain as much in Norwich compared to other places as you would find in other cities and other areas of the UK, particularly in the north. And Norwich is also known as top 10 for shopping. So again, what you can see on the screen is just some of the things that you will find and you will be able to do when you are in Norwich. And some of you might be football fans, so you definitely would have heard of Norwich City Football Club. I mentioned the Norwich Castle. We have I mentioned Norwich Cathedral. We have the Norwich Castle. We have the medieval streets. We have shops. A lot of the shops and shopping centers you find in all the high streets. In London, you will find majority of them in Norwich as well. So let's talk about the campus. This is our campus. UEA is a campus-based university. So what does it mean to be a campus-based university? It means that we have everything on campus. Accommodation, teaching is done on one big site. And the site is about 360 acres of land. So it's a huge university. Some of the things that we have that we are really proud to, showcase is that we have a library that never closes. It's 24 hours library. And it's always open 7 days a week. For those of you that are nerds and want to study on Christmas Day, you will still be able to study on Christmas Day because the library is open. We have laundrettes, we have a medical center, we have a dentistry, we have a huge sports park for anyone who's interested in sports. Our sports park is the largest indoor sports park you will find in any UK university. We have a multi-purpose center, and I did mention that we've got accommodation on campus as well. So you might want, for some of you who would like to live on campus whilst you're studying, I would say this is a very good opportunity for you because you can actually live on campus whilst you're studying. There are so many restaurants on campus. We have over 18 restaurants on campus. We have a lot of clubs and societies, over 250 societies and over 80 clubs, sports clubs. So there is a lot that you can do on campus on our campus. So this is just an overview of an overview picture of campus. This is another overview picture of the campus. This lake that you see is actually on campus, and during summer you find that students, have barbecues, at the just at the bank of the lake on campus. So again, this is a picture of how beautiful our campus is. Very green, very beautiful, and a lot of students do like to stay on campus because it's very serene and it's very, very affordable in terms of accommodation, and I will mention that much later. Okay. So I don't know how many movie fans that we have here, but we have this building called the Sainsbury Center for Visual Arts. So this building that you can see on my screen is actually an iconic building. And today actually marks the anniversary of these events that happened on campus. So, anybody recognize this building? If you're a movie person, you would recognize this building. If you've seen the movie Avengers from Endgame, this building is the Avengers headquarters. And this Avengers headquarters was destroyed in the movie. But just so to let you know, it wasn't really destroyed because this building is actually on campus. If they told you it was destroyed, but they lied. So this building is on campus, is the Avengers building. And the good thing is that the movie was actually shot on campus. So it's not just the building was used. The movie was actually really shot on campus. That makes it, quite an iconic thing. And not only was it shot on campus, we had our film and television and media students join in, filming the movie on campus, and with all of the actors that came, Keanu Reeves and all of that. The director of the Avengers movie is actually a UEA graduate, and he read film and media studies at UEA. So it was actually a good thing to see that they came back, shooting the Avengers movie on campus and using UEA. Okay, so that's just a bit of history. I've mentioned some of the things we have. We have 80 sports clubs, like I mentioned, over 250 societies. I've talked about the St. Center for Visual Arts, and we have an Olympic-sized swimming pool again for those who are interested in sports. So let's talk about our courses. We have over 450 courses at the university. So there might be something for everyone. There's something for everyone as long as you want to study. And we have 4 main faculties. We have the Faculty of Science, Faculty of Arts and Humanities, Faculty of Medicine and Health, and Faculty of Social Sciences. These are our 4 main faculties, and in all of these 4 faculties, we have over 26 schools of study. And in these schools of study, or what we call departments in Nigeria, we have over 450 courses at undergraduate, postgraduate, and PhD level. So some of the courses that we have, I mean, like I said, we have over 450 courses, so there's so many, and I can't begin to list them all, but do know that there might be a course for you based on your interest. So some students might have a particular course title, in their head, but it might not be called that particular course title here at UEA. For example, under the Faculty of Science, we have the School of Computing Sciences, and under the School of Computing Sciences, we have courses like cybersecurity, data science, advanced computing science. And now sometimes you may say, oh, I want to do a master's in maybe something else, for example, and you think that we don't have it, but the course might be the same, but the title might be different. So these span across, like I mentioned earlier, 450 courses. And so a lot of our courses have accreditations, particularly our business, finance, and finance courses. We have several accreditations. We have accreditations with ACCA, CFA, CIMA, AMBA accreditation, CMI. So depending on the course that you want to study, you might not know if there's an accreditation for that particular course, but most of the courses, particularly in business school, have got some form of accreditations attached to them. So for us, our entry requirements spans across 2-1s and 2-2s for postgraduates, and for undergraduates, we accept foundation, we accept A-levels, and we will look at all of that on a case-by-case basis. A lot of our courses accept 2-2, a lot of them also accept 2-1. So it all depends on the course that you're going in for and what the entry requirement is. And we also have postgraduate research. So if you've done a master's and you're interested in going for a postgraduate research, then I would ask you to speak to us as well. So we have a lot of courses to start in September, and as you well know, this is towards the end of June. So this is the time for you to put in your application. Application turnaround is 48 hours. So if you put in your application through Jestone, you can be sure you will get an offer in the next 48 hours as long as you put in a complete application. So what are our fees like? Our fees range from 21,200 to as high as maybe 25,000 pounds. However, all of that is, what we call the total fees. But for anyone who applies through Jestone and, after this webinar, you will get an automatic 4,000 pounds guaranteed off your tuition once you get an offer. And if you have a first class and you're applying for a master's course, you will get an automatic 5,000 pounds off. If you have a 2-1 and your CGPA is from a 4 point and above, you will also get a 5,000 pounds automatic discount. So that brings down our fees considerably. And that's, really a good one for a top university with regards how much fees that we require. Deposit for our tuition is £4,000, and you can spread the rest of your payments in up to 9 installments. So unlike many other schools that, you're required to pay 50% and then you are required to make the rest of your payments either by enrollment or before the end of December, you must pay all of your fees. We don't do all of that. We ask for a £4,000 deposit, and you can spread the rest in up to 9 installments. Okay, I did mention that we have accommodation on campus. Accommodation is guaranteed for all international students. The beautiful thing is that all bills are included, so you don't have to worry about light bill or electricity or gas, or Wi-Fi. All of that is included in your accommodation for the year. So depending on the ones that you choose, and we have loads of options. We have single rooms, we have shared room, we have ensuite. So depending on your budget, depending on your preference and your taste, you can find an accommodation for yourself on campus. We have over 4,000 rooms on campus for international students. So if you're thinking of accommodation, it is not a bother at all for UEA. Another thing to note for our accommodation is that housekeeping is included. And that is also a good thing. So we have housekeepers, what they call housekeepers, coming to clean the accommodation twice a week. That keeps all accommodation and kitchen facilities, all neat and clean. And I've mentioned that we have over 4,000 rooms. We also have, bespoke accommodation. For example, if you want to stay with only postgraduate students, or you want to stay with only undergraduate students, if you want to stay in a quiet zone, we have the quiet living accommodation. We have accommodation for mature students. We have accommodation for single gender, so you want to stay with all females or you want to be with all males, we have all of those accommodation available. We also have accommodation for people with special needs. So if you've got some form of, special need request, you would be able to find an accommodation for yourself at UEA. We have a department called Career Central. Career Central would help students with internship, workshops, employer visits, anything that has to do with support and work during studies. The best place to go to get all of that information is Career Central. Career Central has helped a lot of students when it comes to getting a job off and on campus and off campus as well. Volunteer options. They organize job fairs, employer visits, and I've had cases of students who actually attend these job fairs and employer visits even before they graduate and they get a job. So Career Central, I like to encourage all my international students when I have these webinars to attend, to visit, because they will help you with all of your career questions. And if you do not fit into direct application to the university, so you have a pass, for example, in your degree, or you have an HND, and you don't qualify for a direct master's, we have our pathway provider called Into, and Into will help you with, doing a postgraduate diploma or what we call the pre-masters, or to do a foundation, or to do the international year one that leads into the second year of undergraduate in several subjects. So there is that option for anyone who doesn't qualify to apply directly for a master's or undergraduate course. We have that option with our Into partners. Okay, you can always get more information about us from our country pages, our Facebook page, our YouTube channel, and also from Jestone as well. You will be able to get a lot of information if it's something I haven't covered. These are some of the notable alumni that we've had over the years. Some you might recognize, some you might not be able to recognize, but there is Matt Smith, who played Doctor Who. There's Tolu Ogunlesi, who used to be the special advisor of media to the past government. There's Mapwe Ogun. There's Professor Sarah Gilbert, who developed the AstraZeneca vaccine, COVID vaccine. So we've got notable alumni as part of those who went to UEA. And just to round up, I'm going to play just one video, and I hope you'll be able to hear it in terms of sound, because I didn't share sound at the beginning. But just watch, even if you can't hear the sound. Okay, so I'll just stop sharing my screen now, and then we can ask questions. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Ma, for that session. It was very enlightening. So many things to like about University of East Anglia. In Norwich City, top 10 safest place in the UK, one of the best places to live in the UK. The amazing offers you're giving, the courses that are available, state-of-the-art facilities. It's a lot. Nigerian parlance will say it's plenty. So if you have any questions, now is the time to take questions. If you have any questions, please drop them in the chat box. We're going to be going into the question sessions now. Whatever questions you might have, whatever might be the thoughts on your mind, you can drop them, and we are going to be taking them. She also mentioned while she was rounding up that you can contact Jestone if you have any inquiries, you need help with your application. Very important. You mentioned that their turnaround time is 48 hours. That's the application turnaround time. But before we go into questions are beginning to come in the chat box. But before we go into that, we've been getting a lot of inquiries. The fully funded scholarship. Do you want to touch on that? Because we've been getting a lot of inquiries on that.
Okay, so because this is the end, we're getting to the end of June, we only have one available. Usually my advice to students is if you're thinking of studying, you should start thinking a year or two ahead. And that gives you a better opportunity to plan, especially if you know that you don't have the finances. And that will help you to at least explore your options, when it comes to looking for fully funded scholarships. So we've only got one available, and the deadline is the 30th of June, and it's in the business school. So if you've got any offers in the business school, if you have offers, in business school, in any of our business courses, you will be able to apply for that course. Again, like I said, it's just one that's available. So you'll be up against a lot of people applying for that same course. But there are other scholarships available as well, but not just fully funded.
Thank you. I believe that clears it. So if you want that scholarship, you have to come ready because you're up against a lot of other applicants. So we have a couple of questions here. So I'll start reading them. Some you've already touched on, so I'll just provide a general answer to those questions. And the first question is there an application fee waiver? Application, Jestone Education handles all UK applications to all our UK schools, and it's completely free of charge. We are not charging you anything to make your application. So there's nothing to waive. It's already free of charge. So if you want your application to go in today, like she mentioned, it's 48 hours turnaround time. So if you send in your complete documents today and we're able to make in your application, you might be sleeping, on your bed over the weekend and thinking about you already because you would have gotten an offer already. So, and we offer free admission, and the study visa processing is also free. I need to specify the both of them. We don't charge you anything to process your study visa. So the next question here is, how much is the deposit fee? You already mentioned that it's £4,000 for the initial deposit here. So OK Patience is asking, I have a HND and you mentioned doing pre-master. Can I switch courses? I don't think this question is complete.
Switch courses to what? You haven't
Yes.
even told us what course you're
What course
interested
you are
in.
doing?
Yeah.
Okay, patient. So if you're still on here, please kindly confirm what do you have an HND in and what do you want to do a pre-masters in so we can clarify. Anderson is asking, I have a HND in mechanical engineering with upper credit. Where can I fit in? How much is your initial payment? Can I work while studying? And do you have partial scholarships? So I think the main question is, I have a HND.
That's a lot of questions.
So,
Those are so many questions in
so
one.
the first one, I have a HND in mechanical engineering with upper credit. Where can I fit in?
So I think where you can fit in for us is depends on how long ago you've had that HND, and what exactly you want to study. So some people have HND or pass or third class in a particular course and they're still interested in it. So if you're still interested in mechanical engineering, for example, I would say we might not have anything for you, because again, for anything engineering, we require a 2-1. But if you're pretty flexible, and you don't mind switching courses, so that's where we need to now sit with you, and Jestone will sit with you to ask you, what do you want to study, what's your career plan? Then they can now advise you, and if you don't mind switching, or you don't mind, then we can now offer you a pre-masters in some other field apart from engineering. Okay, and that will now determine how much your initial payment will be. And can you work while studying? Yes, you can work while studying. Every international student is able to work while they study. The only thing is you cannot work full-time. You are only allowed to work part-time. And what else?
The other is initial payments. We answered that already. Are there partial scholarships? She already mentioned that there are tuition discounts, 5,000 if
Yeah.
you have to. Okay, please
Yeah.
go on.
But then again, like I said, it's now going to be dependent on what he wants to study. So if it's
Yes.
pre-masters, for example, the scholarship scheme is totally different. And then so we just need to know where he fits in, and then we can advise him appropriately.
So Anderson, I'm sure you have your answer. But you were already contacted by an assigned Jestone advisor. That same advisor is going to contact you after the webinar to answer whatever questions you might have and to help you make the best decision as to what program you want to go for. They are well aware of all of the offerings of UEA. And if peradventure you do not find an option in UEA, we have other universities that you can explore as well. The next question here from Coca. Please, what are the requirements for a PhD student? What are the requirements for a PhD student?
So, Koka, before you start to think of a PhD, you have to have done a master's. First thing is, what if you've done a master's? If you've done a master's, your question won't be what are the requirements for a PhD student. Your question will be better phrased. So if you're asking about a requirement for a PhD student, you may not have done a master's. But if you've done a master's, then so many other things, we will have to guide you on. But if you've done a master's and you want to go for a PhD, then you should know that the first thing you need to do is to write a research proposal. Yeah, and that also determines tuition fees, and then scholarships. So PhD scholarships are different. Sometimes, and they are usually called fellowships or studentships, and they tend to get advertised on the school's website for what's available. So yeah, it's not as straightforward as a postgraduate taught or a master's course.
Thank you, Debbie. We're also getting a couple of questions here on tuitions. I'm guessing maybe these ones joined a little later, so maybe you want to touch on that. So we can
Tuition fee, depending on the course, so if you're looking at undergraduate, tuition fee is about 20,600, postgraduate is 21,200, and there are automatic discounts applied to both undergraduate and postgraduates. The minimum automatic discount applied is £4,000.
So what are the entry requirements for, okay, before we move on to that, since you just touched on tuition, can you touch on the installment payment as well? Because there are other questions on that. So
yeah, and then I also mentioned that installments, so the rest of the fees, when you pay a deposit, so we require you to pay a deposit of £4,000. And after you pay the deposit of £4,000, then you can spread the remaining of your fees in up to 9 installments. Okay, so whatever your tuition is, let's assume your tuition is £20,000, for example, and you get a £4,000 discount, then we expect you to pay £4,000 of your tuition. So the remaining part of that, which will be about 12,000, you can spread in up to 9 installments. 9 equal installments.
Okay, somebody's asking Deborah, what are the entry requirements for undergraduate biomedical science and also the fee? So she's asking a program-specific question.
Entry requirement for undergraduate biomedical science, I think you need to speak directly to Jestone because I can't just give you that. I don't know what you're asking, what's your initial background? You have A levels, you have foundation, undergrad, just WAEC, I don't know. So I can't tell you what the entry requirement for a particular course is. I can give you an idea of what the fees will be because it's biomedical science is a lab-based course, and that would give you, I think, about £25,000 in fees. So basically that's it. But then again, we need to know, are you applying with your WAEC? Are you applying with A levels or foundation? Then we can look at the entry requirements.
Thank you, Debbie. So I'll touch on that again. So if you have program-specific questions that would need us to sit with you, look at your documents, and analyze where you would fit, we are going to get in touch with you. You were already contacted by an advisor, just an assigned advisor that spoke with you before the webinar. So we are still going to get back in touch with you after the webinar to look at your documents and ensure that the program you want to go for, you're actually qualified to go for that program. There are a lot of questions here on scholarships, which you've already touched on. The 5,000 scholarship, depending on the programs they are going for as well. And
let me just touch on that generally,
yeah, okay.
So you can skip any scholarship question after
African
this.
African scholarship, all of that.
So like I mentioned, you will get an automatic discount, and it's called the Sub-Saharan Africa Award or the Nigeria Award. That's applied to your course, and it's automatically a reduction of your fees. So you might get 4,000 or 5,000, depending on your first degree, if you're applying for masters and undergraduates as well. In terms of other available scholarships, yes, we have them. They're listed on the website. Unfortunately, because this is towards the end of June, there are not too many scholarships available because they passed the deadline. So for an international student, you also have been thinking about studying like a year ahead. And if you're looking for funding, you shouldn't be waiting till June to get funding for September. You must be, proactive and be looking at getting funding like a year ahead and looking at several options. So many schools will have their scholarships listed on the website, but there will be a deadline because they need to shortlist from, the applications, and then award the scholarships. So if you want to know if there are any more scholarships available, I would say go on our website or have a conversation with Jestone and they'll be able to guide you. We have one fully funded available for the end of June. The deadline is the end of June and is in our business school. It's called the Better Business Scholarship. So you can also take a look at that and then apply as appropriately. Most of the scholarships or many of the scholarships are required to have an offer first, which is why we always say apply ahead and start to research ahead, because you first have to apply for a place on the course, get an offer before you now apply for the scholarship. Okay, so that's that for scholarships. So we have the automatic one, which is 4,000 or 5,000 applied, and then we have other ones that you can apply to if they are available. Okay, for the fully funded business one, the deadline is 30th of June. You have just 4 days to get your offer in and also to get your application for the scholarship in. I hope I've done justice to every scholarship question. Let's move on to other ones.
All right, thank you. So there are a couple of other questions here on English, IELTS, English proficiency. That can they use their NECO, can they use their WAEC or their schools at their station later?
Okay, so let me talk on English proficiency. We accept WAEC or NECO. WAEC if you have a credit C6. NECO, I think we accept like a C5. Now, you must have obtained your WAEC or NECO in the last 10 years. Anything older than 10 years, you will need to provide an IELTS. So if you've done your WAEC in 2014, for example, this is 2024, or you've done your WAEC in 2013, two things. Your WAEC NECO must be within 10 years, your first degree must be within 10 years. If your WAEC or NECO is older than 10 years, we will use your first degree if it's within 10 years in lieu of the WAEC or NECO. So either your WAEC or NECO within 10 years or your first degree within 10 years. For undergraduate, yes, if you're using your WAEC to apply for foundation, for example, you must do IELTS. It's compulsory. If you're using a foundation, you don't have to do IELTS. If you're using A levels, you don't have to do IELTS. Now, there are some specific courses that the entry requirement for the English requirement is higher than others. For example, nursing. Nursing will require an IELTS 7.0. So if you have a WAEC C6 and you submit it and it's within 10 years, you can't say, oh, but I have a WAEC, but I have the C6 in WAEC. They won't accept it. Why? Because the IELTS requirement for nursing is pretty high. So in that case, we'll be looking at least a B3 in English for nursing. So I hope that makes sense. So there's some specific courses that require very high IELTS. And if you want to use your WAEC, if it's within 10 years, your grades must be at least a B3.
Thanks for that clarification. So back to Oki Patience's question, the initial question she asked for switching courses for pre-masters. So she has replied, she has a HND business administration, and she wants to switch to a pre-masters in early childhood education.
Not possible.
All right. Okay. Are there job opportunities?
Pre-masters in early childhood education, and apart from that, education is one of those courses where you must have a related background.
All right. Thanks for that clarification. So, are there job opportunities or internship for undergraduate students?
There's job opportunities for everyone, whether undergraduate, postgraduate, masters by research, whatever. As long as you're an international student, you can work part-time. So it's up to you to be proactive and look for a job that suits your timetable, because you also have to take into consideration the fact that you have classes. So you look for a job that will suit your timetable. But yes, you can work as an undergraduate student. It's fine.
So I'm looking through the questions to be sure. There are a lot of program-specific questions here. Some you've already touched on. The rest that they would have to contact their Jestone Education assigned advisor to walk them through. So are there sports scholarships? Are there sport-specific scholarships for those that want to go into sports?
No, we don't have sport-specific scholarships before you enter UEA. We do have some sports scholarships after you have enrolled as an undergrad or a postgrad, usually an undergrad, because we'll need you to be on campus and then join the team, and then they will do the assessments before you are qualified for that. But we don't have a sports scholarship before you enter the university.
All right. And can we come with dependents?
No, as a master's student, as an undergraduate student, no. And that's nothing to do with the university. That is the UK. So there's no university in the UK that will tell you, oh, on our master's course, you can come with dependents. No, it's not possible. However, if you're doing a PhD or a master's by research on a higher level, then yes, you can come with dependents, or you get full funding from government. You can come to the UK with your dependents.
Does UAE accept third class degree for masters?
Not for direct masters. I think the only exception will be courses like MBA, because they tend to look at work experience. So if you've got like 6, 7, 8, 9 years of managerial work experience and you want to do an MBA, having a third class will not be a deterrent, because you will still be interviewed by the course director to assess your suitability, because they're looking for people with more work experience that, as opposed to academic qualification for the MBAs. So I think that will be the only exception. If there are any courses that you are interested in and you have a third class, but you've got like extensive work experience in that particular field, you could, make an attempt to put in an application and then build include your CV and write your personal statement to reflect your work experience. And some courses might give you a chance. For example, the School of Global Development would be excited to have someone who has experience in the field of development and has like maybe years of experience, because it's actually something that they look for. So yes, third class, notwithstanding, they would have a look at that application. But there are some courses that, regardless of your work experience, they wouldn't want you on the course, because it's important you have the academic suitability to be able to do the course.
Thank you for that. So I just wanted to touch on the previous question, because there are more questions on that, which I would still give you the room to answer. We do have, there are schools in the UK, like she mentioned, for MRS programs that would accept, and for specific courses that would allow you to come with your dependents, but only if you are going for an MRS program. So if specifically those are the kind of programs you're looking for, like I've mentioned before, we have all of those options available for you, and you can speak to us, and we can be able to give you that which is tailored to your particular situation. So particularly to UEA, are there MRS courses? I know for most schools, there are specific courses, not all MRS courses. So are there specific MRS courses that would allow students to come in with their dependents?
All our MRS courses allow dependents, because all our MRS courses are 80% research-based and they're at level 8. However, we don't have too many. I think we have just about six MRS courses. Now, the one thing that people don't realize, there are two types. There's Masters by Research, and then there's Masters of Research. Okay, so Masters by Research is different from an MRes, which is a Masters of Research, which is the postgraduate taught masters. Postgraduate research masters. So the Masters by Research is similar to a PhD, and that is like more towards PhD. And in a Masters by Research, you're looking at pure 100% research intense work, while the Masters by Research, which is the postgraduate Masters by Research, which is the Masters of Research, which is the MRes, that a lot of people tend to mention these days because they're thinking of going with independent, should be at least 80% research course, research work, and then 20% taught, 20-30% taught course. So before thinking of doing an MRes or a Masters by Research, you have to be sure that you love research and it's something you want to do. But all of our MRes and Masters by Research are on level 8, which enables you to go with your family or your dependents.
Thank you for that, Debbie. It's little details like this that people, they don't usually know about. and they just go on to make the applications and make some mistakes here and there. That's why we always advocate that allow the experts to do the work for you. So
Exactly. Yeah. And one
yes.
thing people don't also realize is that an MRS does not qualify you for a job. So that you go and study an MRS does not mean when you're done, you are higher than someone who did a PhD, an MSc. So that means you're easily going to get a job. It actually will put you at a disadvantage because it is more research based. So it's only research-led organizations that will be looking for your kind. So you have to be very sure what you're looking for in terms of study.
So if you, I'm sure you're already making your decisions. You're going to be assigned, if you have not already been assigned to an advisor, I'm going to walk you through all of the processes. So I think going through the chat box, I think we've touched on the major questions that have been asked.
Let me touch on the installment plan one more time because
All
it
right.
feels like people don't listen when you're talking or they miss it or maybe network. So the 9 installment, I said 9 equal installments. If you're going for a master's course, which is just 1 year, it doesn't make sense if you will do 9 installments and you're paying every 3 months. So what happens when you finish school? You will run away with the rest of our funds, so no equal installments, which means you pay every month, okay, from October when you arrive on campus. So when we say 9 installments, please don't rejoice and say, oh, you can spread the installments. You pay an amount today, then after 3 months you pay. Say, let's assume that you have £9,000 left of your fees to pay. You pay 500 today, then after another 3 months you pay 200. Then after another 2 months you pay another 2,000. No, it is 9 equal installments, which means every month you pay £1,000 until the £9 finishes. So if you have £12,000 left, split it into 9 equal parts. If you cannot keep up with paying 9 installments, we have 3 equal installments. So 3 equal installments you can pay every 3 months. Typically, your course is 9 months. Okay, so if you resume in September, you finish in June. So that makes it 9 months. So if you're doing 3 installment payment plan, you will pay every 3 months. So that's when school resumes in September, you pay in October, you pay in January, and then you pay in March, April. That's how you spread your installment payment for 3 installments. So 3 installments is 3 equal installments. So if you have £12,000 to pay, you split it into 3 parts. That's 4,000 for every installment payment. I hope that makes sense now, and I hope that's clear.
Hi, my name is Amara. I'm a master's student in psychology, and today I'll be showcasing my day in life as a student writing her dissertation. Oh, before I forget, as also Jestone Education Ambassador in ARU. Okay, let's go. Since my project has been approved, the first thing to do is to set my study on Gorilla as well as Sonar in order to start my recruitment for my data collection. I'm going to show you around my school, a glimpse of it. Just like my school, Jestone Education won Best African Agent of the Year. Can you beat that? They have 99% study visa success rates, just like mine. If it wasn't successful, I won't be here. Application and study visa processing for UK is free. Of course, I told you before now that I didn't pay any money for the processing. So let me reintroduce myself. For ARU, International Digital Student Ambassador, as well as Jestone Education Ambassador. I love the moving train.
Hello everyone, my name is Theodora and I studied at the University of South Florida where I got my master's in global sustainability, and now I currently work at an energy consulting firm. I am very happy, very glad that I chose Jestone Education to help me on my journey to actualize my career dreams because they really were the best, from my visa applications to my travel and up until, my graduation, to be honest. So I definitely implore you to trust Jestone today, reach out, and they would help you actualize your dreams too. Bye. Hello everyone, my name is Theodora and I studied at the University of South Florida where I got my master's in global sustainability and now I currently work at an energy consulting firm. I am very happy, very glad that I chose Jestone Education to help me on my journey to actualize my career dreams because they really were the best, from my visa applications to my travel and up until, my graduation, to be honest. So I definitely implore you to trust Jestone today, reach out, and they would help you actualize your dreams too. Bye.
Did you know that Jestone Education was awarded University of East Anglia's Best African Agent of the Year at the just concluded UEA African Partners Conference? This award tells many stories. It tells the story of the tireless work our expert advisors put in to ensure that your dreams come true. It tells the story of excellence, competence, and reliability. But most importantly, it tells your story. It speaks of your commitment to your dream and your passion to design a better future for yourself. This is a collective win for all of us and a timely reminder that when it comes to studying abroad, no one does it better than Jestone Education. Now more than ever, we are pumped to support you in your global career progression journey. Now is your chance to work with the best African agent of the year. Send us a DM right away to get started. Okay, Abdul Salam, I can see your hand. For those just joining, I'm seeing more persons join. There's nothing to worry about. There are also a couple of persons asking if they'll be able to get this recording session. Yes, we'll be mailing it to you. We have your mail. You filled your mail in the details that you provided us. So we are going to send the recorded session to you so you can listen to it and get all of the information, the valuable information that we've communicated here today. We are currently having the breakout session and it's just 5 minutes. The UEA representative is currently attending to those that have indicated interest to join the breakout session. And they'll be done in a few short minutes. So for those that are just joining, whatever questions you might have, we have advisors that are going to provide you the very much needed answers. And for those that are asking for our numbers, those that want to contact us, I want to get in touch with us. Our numbers are in the chat box. You can copy them, save them, and contact us. But not to worry, we are also going to get in touch with you. You've been assigned to specific advisors that are going to handle your application from start to finish. Just to mention, Jestone Education does not charge a dime for processing your application to study in the UK. It's all for free, completely free. So we are not charging you anything. There's no application waiver. We're going to handle everything for you. Your application process, we're going to help you get the offer. We're going to help you process your study visas, and we are doing all of that for free. Abdul Salam, you are going to be added now to the breakout room with the rep, but please bear in mind that you are only going to be given 5 minutes to speak with her. We need to quickly wrap up today's session.
Why should I choose to study at UEA? That's a very good question, actually. UEA is a top 25 UK university. So when you're talking about ranking, we are highly ranked. We're top 25 in the UK. We're also based in the beautiful city of Norwich that has an international airport. So as an international student, you can fly into Norwich without getting to London and avoid all the long immigration queues you find in London. We also have automatic discounts for our international students up to £5,000. We have flexible payment plan. We have up to 9 installment payment plan. All you need to do after you have gotten an offer from us is to pay your tuition deposit, and then upon enrollment you're free to spread the rest of your tuition in 9 installment payments. So Those are the top reasons why I think you should come to UEA. So what are you waiting for? Speak to Jestone Education, our preferred partner, and get going for September 2024 to enroll at the University of East Anglia. See you there.
Hello, everyone. Thank you for those that are still here. We'll be ending this meeting soon. Ms. Debbie is currently speaking to the last lead, that's the last student that indicated interest to have a one-on-one consultation with her. Just to go over, how much is the tuition deposit for UEA? I guess you're just joining. The tuition deposit for UEA is £4,000, and they have up to 9 installment payment plan. So if you need more clarity on that, we are going to get in touch with you and give you all the necessary information that you need to know about that. Also, Anderson is saying he raised his hand. Oh, Anderson, I apologize. I guess the person assigning didn't see your hand. If not, you would have been assigned to the room. But there's nothing to be scared about. You can always speak to Jestone advisors, and they would answer whatever questions that you have. About the scholarship process, how is the process? We are going to give you all of the information that you need about the scholarship process. Okay, so UEA has different scholarships. There's the one for 5,000, the one for 4,000. We are going to walk you through all of the different minimum requirements that you have to qualify for those scholarship programs. So there's nothing to be worried about. Another person is asking, do you need IELTS for nursing? Debbie already explained that UEA accepts WAEC or NECO. WAEC if you have a C6 and NECO if you have a C5, for as long as it's not more than 10 years. Okay, so that's something that you also want to keep in mind. If you have any further questions relating to English proficiency, the requirements for English proficiency, we are going to walk you through that. So right about now, I believe I'm just going to confirm to be sure if they are done in the other room, so we can get Ms. Debbie's last words and call this webinar to a close.
Okay, thank you. I think I sent some people back to make applications, so please just follow up with them. There's Favor who wanted to do BSc nursing. There's I think Tola who wanted to do something with her daughter. But anyway, I did send some people back. But well, thank you for having me. I hope that I've been able to speak to everyone and attend to them. If you have more inquiries, of course, you know where to find me. And I'd just like to encourage everyone to please put their application through. Am I speaking to Jestone staff, or let me know what my last words would be?
Yes, our contact details are already in the chat box.
Okay.
We're going to drop that one more time. And they also have been assigned to specific advisors that will contact them after this webinar.
Okay, great. Thank you then. I don't have anything else to say, but thank you. It was a fulfilling time. Thanks.
Thank you so much, Ma. Thank you everyone for joining. It was such a great session. Do have a good evening. Thank you.
If you wanna study abroad,
If you need a visa to travel, Jestone Education
is all you need. You can study, you can live, you can walk abroad.
Jestone Education
Actualizing dreams.